I'm Nicola.
Cheryl here.
Nadine.
Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And this is Sarah. Okay, so today we're all gathered here in the studio to have a little chat amongst ourselves about the recording of the latest album, which I'm sure you hardcore fans out there have already bought. But if you haven't and you want a bit of a collector's item, this is it. So here we go.
This is our 5th studio album, and I think that we're all kind of surprised at, how well it's gone and how long we've been around now. It's been like 6 years. Which is amazing. In the beginning you don't really have any expectations, you just hope that it'll do well, and we've come a long way.
I'm definitely pleased with the new album. I would describe it as the best album we've done so far. It's the one I put on when I'm getting ready. I enjoy listening to it as well as performing the tracks on it, and I just feel like it's really upbeat this time. Every single song you want to listen to till the end, and it's really exciting.
It's a lot more grown up. I feel like the things that we're talking about, we actually go in a little bit deeper with the lyrics, and this time that actually makes sense for a change. Which is nice for us as well, to be able to relate to the songs when we're performing them. I would just say that it's just a progression, just a little bit older as we've grown up.
No Let's Go Eskimo on this album, unfortunately.
Jumping on my tutu.
Yeah, probably a lot more sentiment. Well, we recorded the album after the tour, so we usually have a little break after the tour, go straight into studio, and that's where the process begins. And we have a bit of a funny way of recording, don't we? It's very bitty.
I think people, when they imagine us recording, always picture us all in one room together singing around one microphone, and that's not how we record at all. We all sing individually, so we all each go into a studio on our own to sing, but we'll all be down there on the same day most of the time. But we actually sing on our own, and we all record all of the song really, and then Brian just kind of picks what bits he wants to use for the song, and that's how it works.
It's funny, isn't it? Sometimes you'd be walking around the studio and there's 3 or 4 different rooms going on and 3 or 4 of us in there, and you can hear them all singing different parts, and we're like, oh, there's Kimberly singing in the country.
And there's Sarah screaming out that bit. When you were next to me, I couldn't hear anything. All I could hear was you.
But you do walk around the studio and you can hear each of us individually, like belting out something.
Yeah.
It took a little bit longer this time, didn't it?
I found it more enjoyable this time round, because we've all become quite a good tight unit with Xenomania and Miranda and Brian and everyone, and it's actually become a lot more enjoyable, I think, this time.
It was a lot more relaxed this year as well, I felt like.
So it didn't matter that it took a bit longer, I don't think.
I think the nicest thing as well this time is that Brian and Miranda have took inspiration from what's been going on, surrounding about Girls Aloud and surrounding our lives and stuff over the past year, and actually put it into words and onto the album, which gives it a nicer sentiment, doesn't it?
More personal.
Yeah, you can relate to it more, and
it's really
makes
interesting.
it more enjoyable.
Brian Higgins and Miranda Cooper are the kind of 2 main points of reference that we work with at Xenomania. It's a huge team, just loads of people, and there's loads of people working there and writing, and we've worked with them since before we were even a band, like before Sound of the Underground came out. And really throughout the whole process they've been there, and we've always had our chats with Brian, and
he's like part of the group.
He is, and he wants to know what's going on, and he wants to know what direction we want to go in and how we feel about certain things, so that makes him like part of the group. So he can really relate to us and where we're at and where we want to go, and the fact that he's just amazing at what he does and is so successful outside us too. It's just a great combination.
And Brian produces all the songs, doesn't he, ultimately, but Miranda writes more.
Most of the lyrics.
Yeah, she writes most of the lyrics and a lot of the melodies. Brian does write melodies too. Brian and Miranda just work perfectly together. They really do, don't they? They're just like made for each other. They're just a winning combination.
Miranda's like a little pixie with this like really overactive imagination, because how she thinks of the ideas for half of these songs and half of the things you don't even see, like how brilliant she actually is. And she could just pull things out of anywhere and sort of thesaurus it and then have loads of different words to match, and it really is amazing watching her work. And she writes all the lyrics, but she can do it so fast.
It always amazes me how passionate they are, both her and Brian, like the amount of passion that they've still got. They haven't become one of these complacent producers or songwriters where they think we've had loads of hits, it's fine, you know, we can lay back a bit. Not at all. So driven. And that's why I think that's why we're still around as well, because they're passionate.
Towards the end of recording, like we'd go in and Miranda'd go, "Oh, do you remember this song from 5 years ago, such and such?" And I'd be like,
I actually do. And do you know what? One of them that made the album this year is We Want a Party. We recorded that around What Will the Neighbours Say.
because sometimes as well, like when we record songs at the time, we can't relate to the song and it doesn't fit well, the vocal doesn't suit or whatever. So like 2 years later, he'll say, "Well, let's try that song again," and then it makes it on the album. It's one of the best ones on there.
They grow into it, or they have melody ideas that later on down the line they can fit more fitting lyrics with, so they would bring out the melodies again, because I mean it would be a waste to write a melody and then let it go, so they log everything and they have a library of songs, which is amazing because they can always fall back on that.
And even a library of our vocals. Like they can have vocals from album 1 or album 2 and you hear it and you think, "Oh, no way, how do I sound like? I sound like a baby." Everybody sounds just different. You just get, and more unconfident too. Because at the start when you go into a studio and there's people sitting outside looking at you and listening, you can't help but feel a bit self-conscious. So you can really tell. Whereas now it's like, "What do you want me to do again?" Right, okay. Scream, right.
And I think it's hard as well. Like I couldn't even like putting the earphones on and trying to sing and get the levels right. Like I couldn't. Like, you know, you have to learn all of these things.